have another new champion out today. This is Norra. I don't know who that is. Apparently it's a LOR sort of exclusive release, the first in LOR champion, which is really exciting. They put out some of the cards in her package out yesterday, and so I have a brief idea of what she does, but very excited to see what this is all about. Let's jump into it.
My self. Cup of tea? Fine by me.
So Norra, 2 mana elusive 1/2. Nexus Strike, plant a Mysterious Portal randomly on top 4 cards of your deck. And so Mysterious Portal is something that we were revealed to yesterday. It's a boon, much like Bard's Chimes. When you draw, it does something. And so it summons a random 2 or 3 cost follower. If your board is full, create a 0 cost fleeting copy in your hand instead. Which is really, really interesting. Not only is it random, it's also random between a 2 or 3 cost follower. From what they said on Twitter, they're actually limiting the pool of what the portal can actually give you. Like, it's not going to give you any cards with skills, something like that. And I think some other clauses, which is really interesting. This whole mechanic, it's I don't know. There's other cards that will put portals on top of your deck, and of course Norra. You summon 6+ created allies. 6+ created allies. So this also isn't just completely locked to the portals. If you create like a 2-drop in your hand and then you play that 2-drop, then you know Norra's also going to progress towards her level up. So you're not completely locked on the portal kind of thing. But like if you just play Norra in like a little bit of a value game plan and just get a random 2 or 3 drop, like that payoff seems pretty decent, especially if you just draw it off the top, right?
Fancy a cup of tea? I'll warm the kettle.
Oh no, Norra, no.
Hello, Yumi. I'm ignoring you so you know I'm mad you left. Bless my socks. Aren't you just a sight?
What are these voice lines?
Step lively. Don't be shy. I got your 6 shortcakes. Oh, spittle spat.
Oh, spittle spat. Oh, spittle spat. Okay.
Portals everywhere. Well, aren't you the cutest thing of a D I
How hard is it to draw a portal? Come on, I want to see you draw a portal. Come on, man.
Off we go. On it.
Defensive Rek'Sai, LOL. Get wrecked.
Oh, the suspense is terrible. I hope it lasts. Portals, up and down and all around.
Wait, what the fuck? There's a lot of text here. What? No shot, no shot. Your portal's now summoned a 4, 5, 6, or 7. What? This is disgusting. Are you kidding me? Wait, does Norra have to see? Please tell me Norra has to see. There's no way Norra doesn't need a C, right? You don't even need a C. Oh my god, that sounds absolutely disgusting. What? That's disgusting.
I think I'm quite ready for a new adventure. Dearie me.
What the fuck? That's actively one of the most disgusting effects I've ever seen.
Home is just around the portal. tea. Just what I needed. A journey's end is just another's beginning.
Oh my god. Okay, let's digest. So the portal mechanic again is like the boon, like the chime, and much like the bard followers, there's going to be cards that will put portals into your deck. We saw Norra's spell plants 2 mysterious portals, randomly draw 1, and then create a Norran deck. So very similar-esque to what bard does, which is activate, draw and then activate. Now obviously don't activate the portals because I think obviously with Norra that'd be a lot stronger. But like as a champion cell that synergizes with the champion, like this is just generally speaking good design. At 5 mana, I'm not so sure if the payoff is strong enough for this to actually be played, because the 5 mana draw 1, even though it does do some good things for you, there might be better ways of doing it depending on what the other portal cards do. Eclectic Collection, 7 mana burst for each ally, plants a mysterious portal and 3 chimes into the top 10 cards of your deck and plant a flash bomb and what? Wait, this card is crazy. Let's say you have like 5 allies on board, so you put 5 portals, 15 chimes, 5 flash bomb traps, and 15 puff caps on random cards in the top 10. Oh wait, but the flash bomb traps are on random cards. That's kind of interesting. Generally speaking, any flash bomb card is always put inside the top 8 cards of your opponent's deck, but this is random, which is interesting. This is such a weird card. Like, there's no immediate payoff for this card, but like you're in Vandal City, you have this swarm sort of setup. You can get mysterious portals to like just go wide really easily without any sort of way to counteract, and this is burst, and you're just gonna instantly just trigger this. Like it's hard to evaluate how good this card is, but if you have like a 5-6 wide board, which I don't know how difficult that's going to be because you're in Vandal City and you have the portal mechanics, like if you get 5 portals, 15 chimes, 5 flash bombs, and 15 puff caps, like that's not bad value as far as things are concerned. That seems pretty decent. I don't know if that's something you would main deck for sure. But definitely another hit to like the whole like station, or not station archivist, but the Reggie, the Pharaoh's Financer card. Like that's not bad at all. Junk Construct, 2 mana, 2/2 last breath, plants a mysterious portal randomly to the top 4 cards of your deck. I think 2 mana, 2/2 that does things for the deck, generally speaking, is a pretty fine card. The issue is this is a last breath, but in this sort of meta, you're trading down. So I think this card is pretty decent. Living Library, a 5 mana 4/3 elusive. Whenever I'm summoned, if one of your traps or boons has activated this round, draw 1. So this is just an elusive with a draw 1 sort of tag onto it. But at a 5 mana 4/3 that doesn't actually place any portals or boons or whatever into your deck, like this is like glorified Shadow Assassin, no? And it has a condition to it. This card seems a lot worse. It's definitely restricted by the fact that it's in Vandal City. But this card doesn't seem that great. Magical Journey, 2 mana burst, plant a mysterious portal randomly in the top 4 cards of your deck and plant 3 chimes on random cards in your deck. Yeah, that doesn't seem very good. Like having to plant portals is definitely like a setup. Now, obviously you want to hit your portals after Norra levels, and you're probably going to be doing other things. Realistically, if you're building a deck around Norra, you're going to be putting other cards into your deck that create allies in hand, and then you can play it, right? I'm assuming something like, Mirai Warden summons a created ally. You can play any sort of Hungry Owlcat kind of deck that just like tries to turbo level up Norra. And you don't really want to play Magical Journey early on. Now, looking at like the cards so far, let's just keep going for now. The Team Maker, 3 mana. Sorry, this is a little bit blocked, but 3/1. When I'm summoned, plant a mysterious portal randomly in the top 4 cards of your deck. And then this is okay. Compared to the 2-drop and the 3-drop, like these are relatively about the same. The 3-1 stat line is definitely a little bit worse for sure, but it's okay. And then Realm's Caretaker, 6 mana 4/4. Each round, sorry, this is blocked out. Each round, the first time one of your traps or boons activate, give all allies +1/+1 and impact this round. Wow. So it's like a sort of Genevieve-esque effect, but like you get this effect at the start of each round, or like you can draw at burst speed and activate this card. Now, is this necessarily what the finisher for this kind of deck looks like? I'm less sure, but like giving a 5 wide board impact and +1/+1 is really, really good, especially at burst speed. Like this is not a bad card at all. Like right now, we're luckily limited by what kind of cards can put portals on top of your deck. Obviously, Norra, once she's leveled up, looks absolutely insane. Like the high roll potential, the absolute unfairness that could come out of this card. This like almost reminds me like what Thralls could do potentially. Now, of course, you know, you'd have to like draw 2-3 portals after Norra levels up, maybe on the same turn, going into like attack for it to like be as unfair. But, like that's a strong effect. The only downside is the card. There's not a lot of card ways to actually put portals into your deck. Like if we look at these cards, all these cards only put 1 portal, except for like Norra Spell or Eclectic Collection, and that sort of build up strategy is definitely a little bit slower. You can like give Norra Scout, which is pretty funny. If you play like the Demacia card, the the card that gives in the next ally you play Scout, which is pretty funny. But like look at these cards, like it might be a little bit tricky in actually getting cards that give you portals. Like maybe you can like bounce this Teamaker card, given like the whole recall Bandle City like archetype they're trying to push. Maybe you can play like some Shadow Owls cards that either revive like Junk Construct to like have more ways of shuffling cards into your deck, or shuffling more portals into your deck. I think the portals are definitely the payoff of building around Norra, right? But so far Norra seems interesting. Like she's definitely very strong if she can pop off. But like getting the portals into the deck after she levels up might be a little bit of a hard aspect here. But I could see this being very, very degenerate. Like imagine just ripping 2 7-drops or like 2 6-drops off of Norra after she levels up. And realistically, how fast can she level up? Like realistically, I don't know, that'd be tough. Like it looks like it'd be okay around like this turn 5, turn 6 mark, and especially because she doesn't need to actually see. You don't need to see being the ally, this allies created allies being summoned. Now, of course, if you don't have Norra on board and you just rip all your portals, then you're losing a lot of value as well, right? So Norra is one of those champions you kind of need to have on board to actually like have the payoff that you're building around, right? Which is, I think, an interesting way to balance things, but at the same time also just generate some really ridiculous high roll situations. I feel like this is Bard, but like a little over the top. Because I rated Bard not the highest when he initially came out, and I was pretty wrong about it. And while Norra doesn't have this effect where she's just like putting portals turn after turn on top of your deck, her level up is really ridiculous, is all I really have to say. So very curious to see how Norra actually performs. And, you know, there's still some other champions that may or may not have synergy with Norra overall. But like this whole portal thing seems, it seems like a, it seems like a little bit of a hectic sort of mechanic. I don't just straight off the bat, it's not something that it looks like something it'll be fun to like absolutely high roll somebody on like days 1 and 2, but like if this deck is competitive, this doesn't look like the deck I'd enjoy playing against, in a very similar sense to Bard. So very interested to see how this will actually shape out. But that's gonna be it for the Norra cards. There might be a few more cards that were released the other day. Yeah, we'll just look over these really quickly. So we have a few more cards here. We have Mecha Pulverizer in Bandle City as well. 3 mana +3/+3 equipment. To play it, discard 1. Just like for stats for what it does, this seems pretty okay. Now, unfortunately, Bandle City is not exactly the region you want to be discarding cards. Like the reason why PNZ Noxus is so good at it is because discarding those two colors is super synergistic. And in Bandle City, of course, you're generating a lot of cards, so it's not a huge downside to it. But as far as equipments go, yeah, the stat line's good and all, but there's not really a lot of payoff to doing this. Like maybe because like you can't put it on you can't have equipment and attach on the same unit, if I remember correctly. But so like you need some actual keyword to have a payoff of it. But of course, Norra, right? You play Norra on turn 2 and then you give her a +3/+3. That's all of a sudden pretty scary if you're a deck that just can't deal with that. So like you can think of this as like a sort of pseudo kind of like protection spell, because +3 health for 3 mana is actually really decent, especially because this is spell mana, right? So if you play Norra and they don't immediately Mystic Shot her and then you just Mecha Pulverizer Norra, like now you create a unit that isn't really going to be killed very easily, and maybe get like 2 portals out of it and deal like 8 damage. Like that could be really powerful. So honestly, like I'm still not sure where I fall under how powerful all these equipment cards are, but this does seem quite good. Back Alley Bar, 6 mana landmark. When summoned, summon a Back Alley Barkeep. Your new cards cost 1 less. This has to be like a meme tier card, right? So for those of you who don't know what Back Alley Barkeep does, it's a 4 mana 3/3. When I'm summoned, create as many random cards in your hand as how many Barkeeps you have summoned. So if you summon it the first Back Alley Barkeep you summon gives you 1 random card, the second one gives you 2, the third one gives you 3, etc., etc. And then your new cards, meaning cards you have yet to play. So if you think about like Submersible or Pursuit of Perfection, in order to get those new cards played, you can have this as a sort of like engine to reduce the cost of your cards going forward. But 6 mana as a landmark, I do like the direction that they're going with landmarks in introducing like this sort of engine, or at least landmarks that persist around to kind of do things for your board, like Windswept Hillock, Back Alley Bar, even in the old design like Noctri Arena or the Piltover University. I do like the concept of these cards. However, like they have to be a little bit on the weaker side, and I think this is just a bit too slow for what it does. But it's really funny, and maybe if the meta is like super slow, this could be pretty decent, because this is going to give you a -1 to like almost anything so long as you haven't played it before. It's really, really cool. Darken Lodestone, 2 mana target, +1/+1. Equipment, support, grant my supported ally +1/+1. You may spend 8 mana to play me as one of the Darkens. Just like off the bat, 2 mana +1/+1. That's like Pale Cascade, right? And because it's a support, you want to be playing this like offensively. So like offensively, it's almost like a Pale Cascade, because whether or not you commit it first or not, is sort of like it's sort of like the same thing. And then it has like a support clause that also gives a Pale Cascade to another unit. Does this sort of strategy in Targon, does Targon want this sort of strategy? I don't know. Like Targon's in a weird spot where now it's no longer like the slow invoke deck. Like the invoke deck's not going to want this card as like this sort of like tempo game plan. Is any tempo game plan deck gonna splash Targon to play like this equipment stuff? Also kind of unsure. Does this fit in like a faded archetype? Unsure about that. Just for the cost, like all equipment so far for its cost seem pretty decent, but again, they do have to be played at slow speed. And it's I don't know. The payoff doesn't seem fantastic for this one, but Harazi. Let's look at Harazi. So Harazi is an 8 mana Darken. So if you spend 8 mana, play out Harazi. It's an 8 mana 7/7 spell shield that says support, grow my supported ally stats to mine, and give it my positive keywords this round. So if you're attacking with Harazi, you give it you create a 7/7 spell shield. And if you have like a 1/1 Poro that's elusive, right? You just have a 7/7 elusive spell shield Poro. Seems okay. Equipment is cool because it's flexible, right? Like having the option of playing it out as this if you need to in the late game is really, really cool. Because you know, once you get to that point, like the +1/+1 ++1/+1 definitely loses a lot of value. So the flexibility in the equipment is cool, but Targon hasn't really seen this sort of playstyle in or like work for them in a very long time. And at that point, if you're spending 8 mana to play this, might as well just like spend 8 mana to invoke like a Great Beyond, right? And you almost have a very similar sort of style of win con. So I'm not entirely sold on the direction Targon is being taken in this sort of expansion. Because like I don't know how much Targon benefits from having this sort of game plan when it already had invokes that is arguably doing the same thing, if not even better, and more flexible because it has obliterates and removal. So very interested to see how this sort of shapes out. And then we have some really interesting card here. Seal and Steel, 2 mana, fast speed, obliterate an ally, and create a corrupted form with its stats. Oh, in hand. Okay, I thought it was into the deck, which is going to be a lot worse. So this is like, if your opponent vengeances your 7/7, you get a 3 mana 7/7 weapon. But again, the problem in Targon is like, you know, you don't really have the cards with the keywords to finish things off. And if you do, they're already going to be big enough because it's just like invokes. Now, let's say like you had like a charger, I guess, and then you put like a 3 mana 7/7 onto the charger or like a Zoe. You know, that's actually not that bad. But it's slow, right? And Targon again hasn't really seen these slow sort of strategies work out for them. So unless the meta slows down drastically, which honestly I don't really see that happening given the current set and given the current sort of decks rotating around. But like these are some interesting cards, right? So definitely some very, very interesting cards that came out, especially Norra. Like it's so hard to evaluate what Norra looks like coming into the meta. But this is gonna wrap it up for today. Exciting bits of cards released, and hope you guys are interested and excited for the expansion. So I'll leave it out for you guys here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me guys know what you think about the new cards, and I'll again, as always, I'll link the new cards and where you can find them down below in the description. But have a good day, guys. I'll catch you guys later.